After the absolute onslaught of massive new games that arrived in September, it would be pretty reasonable to expect October to be just a little bit quieter. Yeah, reasonable, but wrong. Just take a look at all the huge titles arriving this month. October kicks off with another Day 1 addition to Game Pass in the form of the delightfully pulpy action strategy game, The Lamplighters League. We played some of this at Gamescom and absolutely loved it. You guys are in for a treat. Arriving on the 3rd, it takes players to an alternate 1930s where an evil cult is about to seize control of the entire planet, which, to be fair, does still sound like more fun than the Great Depression. To stop them, you'll need to assemble a squad of globe-trotting outcasts and oddballs, each with their own special skills. Each mission you undertake is sure to be a blast too, thanks to the Lamplighters League's genre-blending gameplay, which has your team sneaking their way across the map and picking off stragglers in real time before engaging the enemy in tactical, turn-based battles.
PC gamers have already had the chance to bludgeon and blast their way through the grim-dark world of Warhammer 40k Darktide, and now console gamers will be able to get their hands dirty too. Available on Game Pass from the 4th, Darktide is a first-person action RPG, which starts by letting you design your own custom character. You could build a staff-waving sidekick who makes people's heads explode, or a towering gunner with a ginormous machine gun, who I guess also technically makes people's heads explode too. The point is, you can have your character tailor-made for your own personal playstyle. Your buddy can do the same thing, and then you can go cause carnage together in online co-op.
And that's not the only deliciously dark title arriving in October, with Hellboy Web of Weird arriving too on the 18th. This roguelike brawler sees Hellboy using his red right hand to slap his way through a terrifying dimension known as the Weird. You'll encounter all sorts of nightmarish creatures as you explore, learning to outfox and outbox them with the game's tight melee combat mechanics. And with a brand new story co-written by the character's creator, Mike Magnolia, you just know you're in store for some vintage Hellboy action.
As much as we've loved swinging warhammers and sailing longboats, we are so excited to see Assassin's Creed getting back to its sneaky, stabby roots with Mirage. The latest entry in this acclaimed third-person adventure series stars a brand new hero called Basim, who's just trying to stay one jump ahead of the law in 9th century Baghdad, but he is then offered the chance to be part of something bigger. Cue the white robes, the wrist blades, and the elegant dives into big bales of hay. Assassin's Creed Mirage looks like a true stealth spectacular, so don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for all the latest info on it before and after its October 5th release.
If you've enjoyed the previous Sword Art Online games, then Last Recollection is what it's all been leading up to. This third-person actioner has a bigger roster of playable characters than ever before, each with their own spectacular fighting style. In fast-paced games like this, where people are swinging fire swords and magic daggers all over the place, you really appreciate the smoothness of the Xbox Series X and S's 60 FPS gameplay. But it's not just about the fighting, as any anime fan can attest to. Sword Art Online Last Recollection also features an exciting new story, a bunch of charming new characters, and a sinister fellow known only as the Dark Knight. Oh, and it arrives on October 6th.
Forza Motorsport is, quite simply, built different. This truly next-gen racer is made up of nothing but cutting-edge technology. It boasts over 500 cars, all beautifully recreated with advanced physics and photorealistic visuals, including real-time ray tracing during each race. Then there's the immersive rumbling of its spatial sound technology and the elite racing ability of its AIs. Basically, Forza Motorsport drives faster, smoother, and smarter than anyone else on the track, and it will be here to start racking up trophies on October 10th as a day one addition to Game Pass. And if you want to get a head start on the competition, you can start your engines 5 days early by pre-ordering the premium edition.
A cult classic gets a luxurious new reboot with Lord of the Fallen on the 13th. This Souls-like action RPG takes players to a vast, dark fantasy world that's 5 times larger than the realm of the original and at least 10 times deadlier. Well, that's my estimate anyway. I don't actually have the figures to back that up. But what I do know is that Lords of the Fallen is going to have players crafting their own characters and taking part in fast-paced, visceral battles against humongous bosses. Oh, and that the whole game just looks stupefyingly pretty too.
Sonic is another beloved franchise that's getting back to basics with a turbocharged 2D adventure called Sonic Superstars. The new game features a gorgeous new collection of levels for players to speed through, and a whole bunch of iconic characters for them to play as. You can even get the whole gang together by playing in 4-player co-op locally or online. With its chaotic co-op and lightning-fast gameplay, Dr. Eggman won't know what hit him when Sonic Superstars arrives on the 17th.
As the old saying goes, the only thing more dangerous than a wizard is a wizard with a gun? I think that's what they say. This incredibly titled new game is a cooperative sandbox survival game, where players must work together to stay alive using the ancient mystical arts of wizardry, and also by shooting things with guns. Much simpler. By gathering resources from the wild, you'll be able to craft enchanted bullets, upgrade your weapons, and perform more complex magic with devastating effects. The further you delve into the game's many magical biomes, the more resources you'll find and the more mystical stuff you'll be able to craft. It truly is a wonderful time to be a wizard, and you can become one on the 17th.
Sometimes he's a man in green tights. Sometimes he's a cartoon fox, but Robin Hood is always worth paying attention to. The latest incarnation of the legendary folk hero sees Robin and his band of merry men scrapping it out in an exhilarating third-person action game. Gangs of Sherwood allows 4 players to team up online, combining the unique combat styles of each character to pull off devastating combo moves. It might not be completely faithful to the source material, but any game that gives us a cyborg Little John who smashes bad guys with his big metal fists is alright by us, and it will be here on October 19th.
If Hot Wheels Unleashed left your inner child wanting more, then that's exactly what you're going to get with its turbocharged sequel. The follow-up to that blisteringly fast racer features 130 different Hot Wheels vehicles, including ATVs and motorbikes, which drive completely differently and open up all sorts of new possibilities in terms of how you take on each track. Check out the original right now on Game Pass, and then get ready to rev it up even further with Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 turbocharged on the 19th.
The spell is broken and they live again. The Gargoyles are back in this beautifully remastered version of their classic 90s adventure. Side-scroll your way through the streets of Manhattan as you use your claws, wings, and hulking purple muscles to protect humanity. As you do so, you'll get to enjoy modern conveniences like instant rewind features and a gorgeously remastered soundtrack, along with the option to choose between those classic 16-bit visuals or a gorgeous new set inspired by the animated series. Like the Gargoyles themselves, it's a glorious case of combining old and new, and it will be available from the 19th.
Endless Dungeon is a twin-stick tactical roguelike which arrives on the 19th. It all goes down on an abandoned space station where a ragtag group of shipwrecked heroes are hoping to find some means of escape. But to do that, they'll need to fight their way through an endless horde of bots, bugs, and blobs as they move up through the station's levels. You might not make it on the first run, or the second, or the 20th, but each time you die, you'll be able to upgrade your team and prepare to go again, while enjoying some sweet tunes at the station saloon. It's not a bad deal at all, actually.
And speaking of tunes, the 2024 edition brings a whole new list of tracks for players to strut their stuff to. This year's list features 40 brand new songs and has a little bit of everything, from recent hits like Miley Cyrus' Flowers to timeless bops like Whitney Houston's I Wanna Dance With Somebody. Plus, you don't have to worry about getting sick of these songs with more new content arriving all through the year to keep things fresh. Not that we would ever get sick of Miley anyway. Pick up Just Dance 2024 edition on October 24th to get the party started.
This next one is massive, featuring revolutionary stealth gameplay and delightfully insane plots involving giant robots and global conspiracies. The Metal Gear Solid franchise is one of the most acclaimed series in gaming history, and you'll be able to check out 3 classic installments from it on October 24th thanks to the Master Collection Volume 1. Whether you're coming to the series for the first time or you've been shuffling around under cardboard boxes for decades, the Master Collection Volume 1 will be well well worth checking out. It bundles together the first 3 titles along with a huge array of bonus content like digital soundtracks, screenplays, and graphic novels, plus the ability to check out various different versions of each game.
Cities Skylines 2 takes the blueprint from the first game and expands on it in every single way. Players will now be able to build bigger, more dynamic cities filled with citizens, all of whom are out there living their own lives.
It's up to you to keep things happy while also keeping the economy ticking over, to deal with sudden crises while also planning for future ones, and to remember that every choice you make will have effects that ripple out through every aspect of your city.
It's a lot, but then we're not playing quaint little village skylines, are we? PC Game Pass members will be able to start building the cities of their dreams from day one, with Cities Skylines 2 arriving straight onto the service on October 24th. And if you want to find out more, check out when I played the game on a crane. Yes, that's actually something I really did. It was scary.
It's wobbling. Can we please get down from here?
God, between Forza Motorsport and Sonic Superstars, we're really feeling the need for speed this month. And that continues on the 26th with Ghost Runner 2. This first-person slasher keeps the momentum from the first game going with a selection of new abilities for you to unleash on your enemies as you run, jump, and slice your way through a cyberpunk dystopia. But watch out, because this time around, the bad guys can adapt to your chosen techniques, leaving you running towards the deadest of dead ends. You're just going to have to learn how to deal with Ghost Runner 2's sharp-witted new foes, and you're going to have to do it fast.
After all those breakneck speeds, Minico's Night Market is the perfect place to take it slow.
Hitting Game Pass as a day one release on the 26th, this cozy social sim tasks players with cobbling together all sorts of bits and bobs to sell in their store.
To do so successfully, you'll need to master a variety of skills, from donning disguises to help you sneak into the areas where the really good resources are, to bartering with customers so you can land the best deal.
It's not all business as usual though. You'll also get to explore a mystical island inspired by Japanese culture, take part in all sorts of whimsical side quests, and meet a whole bunch of cats.
The long-awaited multi-layered Thermos-infused sequel to Alan Wake's iconic horror story arrives on the 27th with all sorts of spine-tingling ways to double the player's fun. This time around, we've got 2 protagonists, the haunted reality writer Mr. Wake, whose stories have a habit of coming true, and an FBI agent named Saga Anderson, who seems to have found herself trapped inside one of them. And you'll get to explore 2 different worlds as you move between the idyllic scenery of Bright Falls and the hellish realm known as the Dark Place. The way it's doubling down on the original game's chills and thrills, Alan Wake 2 looks like the perfect title to celebrate Halloween with this year.
Also on the 27th, we'll be mixing up some martial arts with UFC 5. This next-gen fighting game packs a serious punch. The all-new impact system that cleverly calculates the damage caused by each blow as the fight wears on, forcing players to change up their strategies to defend their weakened areas if they don't want the doc to call a stop to the whole thing. Although, if you manage to beat them to it and stop the fight yourself, you can relive the moment in style, thanks to a brand new cinematic KO replay feature, which makes every knockout look like it was directed by John Woo.
Right, that's it. No more jokes, no more messing about. This is serious. It's time to find out which of these pigeons is the true master headbanger, yeah? And we're going to do so by having 30 of them compete in a series of wacky rhythmic challenges that test their memory, reflexes, reaction time, and, of course, their rapping skills, to determine which of them deserves the crown. You can collect power-ups to help you throw your rivals off their rhythms, as well as crumbs for unlocking cosmetic options to give your pigeon that personal touch. Class. You can do all this and more on October 31st when Headbangers Rhythm Royale bops its way straight onto Game Pass.
We'll finish off the month with a game that's a real uphill struggle, but an oddly calming one, Dusant. This tranquil adventure has you scaling the side of a vast mountain, solving puzzles, exploring new biomes, and interacting with the people you meet along the way. The intuitive control scheme makes the simple process of putting one hand in front of the other exceptionally satisfying, while the laid-back tunes and the fact that you literally cannot die all contribute to one of the most soul-soothing games you'll find anywhere. And in this particular case, you'll find it on Game Pass from day one.
How about a little update for one of our favourite games here at Xbox On? The 10th season of Sea of Thieves sets sail on the 19th, bringing with it 3 exciting new ways to play. Cooperatively minded players can now form their own guilds and work towards shared goals together, while competitive pirates can take part in an intense new voyage that has them fighting for control of an ancient artifact. And finally, if you just want to be left alone to play with your most trusted shipmates, you'll now be able to enjoy your very own private sessions now too. Finally. And that is just about everything we know about October. So, what are you guys most looking forward to during this year's spooky season? Hit the comments, let us know, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye guys!